wish I would have placed bets in this fight. Every time I place bets, it never goes my damn way. But for at least the main card, I hit 100%. Even on the way that the fight would occur, I hit 100%. I thought that Justin Gaethje was going to catch Tony Ferguson late second round, early third round. Now, this isn't a knock on Tony. I said from the very beginning, and nobody wanted to agree with me, that Justin Gaethje is a harder fight for Tony Ferguson than Khabib Nurmagomedov would be. The reason why I said that is because of a simple factor. Tony Ferguson is easily hit. Justin Gaethje hits really damn hard. Another factor that I brought up and broke down prior to this event was the fact that Tony Ferguson chooses to throw strikes from awkward situations and awkward angles. This is important because where most fighters like myself would deem, hey, I'm in a bad position right now. I need to get myself in a better position so that I do not take damage. Tony doesn't give a damn. Tony's going to throw regardless of what position he's from, whether it's good position, bad position. He does not care. He's going to continuously throw from those awkward situations. But I believed, and which turned out to be correct, that punch for punch, Tony Ferguson was not going to be able to hang with Justin Gaethje. On that note, Tony Ferguson is the toughest SOB in the world. There's not another man alive. But Francis Ngannou couldn't have taken those strikes off of Justin Gaethje. Yeah, not even that many. You, me, Bowser, we're all going to sleep off of a couple, if not one, of the strikes that Justin Gaethje was hitting Tony Ferguson with. Let alone, he hit him with at least 30 or 40 step over hooks, which was crazy because on our live stream, I actually broke that technique down to my partner, Adam Baum-Hartzell, prior to that fight happening. I was actually showing it to him. It's a technique that my brother Levi does extremely well, which is where if you overextend on your rear hand shot, you can generate a lot of momentum, get yourself out of very bad position, and catch your opponent off guard by taking your rear leg, the leg of which the arm that you just overextended with, stepping it across to the outside foot of your opponent, and then hitting them with the opposite side. What this does is it turns your lead hand into your power hand. It also has that power punch coming from a very weird angle, a very awkward angle. You're moving to one side and the punch is coming from far the opposite. It's a fantastic combination of strikes. And to people that don't just completely bail out of the pocket, meaning that when you press forward, they're not completely on the back pedal, like myself, like an Israel Adesanya, and they decide to stay in the pocket or slip and rip, they're normally in range, in shot to get hit with that shot. So it's somehow fitting and somehow managed to occur. That is the main technique that Justin Gaethje was using against Tony Ferguson. He was diving and falling into his overhand right shot, which was landing in and of itself. And then he was shooting that after his overhand right. He would shoot his right leg across the body of Tony Ferguson to outside of Tony Ferguson's left foot, and then crack him with the left side hook. Beautiful performance by Justin Gaethje. I think that everything just fell into place for Justin. Justin looked absolutely phenomenal. His timing was impeccable. That's probably the most impressive thing in the fight, besides Tony Ferguson's just significant durability, was Justin Gaethje's timing. Justin Gaethje's timing and his cardio at that was on another level. Justin Gaethje, we're seeing what happens now that Justin Gaethje is choosing to be a cognizant fighter. Now that he's choosing not to just go in there, have fun like he says, close his eyes and bang. Justin Gaethje is transcending. His ability to time Tony's movements was out of this world, especially considering, like I mentioned earlier, that Tony throws from awkward positions. Tony moves in awkward ways. Tony hits people where they don't think they can be hit, and Tony moves in places of which the normal fighter would not go. And Justin Gaethje was able to pick up, learn, and dissect Tony Ferguson's timing and cadence very early in the fight. And Tony Ferguson didn't touch the takedown. Tony Ferguson messed around and tossed out one Imanari roll. Poor Tony Ferguson, man. That one actually kind of hurt to watch. When we think about, we've heard people say the fight between Tony and Khabib is now never going to happen. If Khabib loses, whether it be to Conor McGregor, whether it be to Justin Gaethje, whether it be to whomever, if Khabib loses, Tony Ferguson will be able to get that shot. Now, Adam Baum, my partner, seems to think that if Khabib loses, that he immediately retires, which I don't think so. I know he's been talking a lot about retirement, but I don't believe that he just up and retires like it's nothing. I believe that Khabib Nurmagomedov chooses, if he does lose, I feel like that gives him a little bit more fire to come back. Or who knows, if Khabib decides to stick around, Tony Ferguson, say, goes and beats up Dustin Poirier, and then beats up the loser of Khabib and Gaethje, or Khabib and Conor McGregor. He can work his way back into title contention very quickly, I believe. At the same token, I think that the UFC is probably happy that Tony Ferguson lost. Tony Ferguson isn't the most marketable character. He has a little bit of issues. He is indeed a very weird character for the division. So I believe the UFC, the people who matchmake, are probably a little bit happy at this outcome. Let's see where Tony Ferguson goes from here. Justin Gaethje, takeaways, impeccable timing, beautiful, beautiful step over hooks, angles fantastic, cardio fantastic, hand durability fantastic. Justin Gaethje showed up. And I believe Tony Ferguson showed up too. But I believe Tony Ferguson has been able just to be a demon and walk through and step through people for his entire career. And Justin Gaethje just isn't one of those that you can do that with. Who would have known what would have happened if Tony Ferguson would have landed that uppercut that dropped Justin Gaethje earlier in the fight? My thought process on it is that Justin Gaethje was cognizant, because if you go back and re-watch that, after Justin Gaethje was knocked unconscious with that overhand, or with that uppercut, it looked as if Justin Gaethje came to, because you can see his eyes. He went to go, as his body was giving out, as Justin Gaethje was falling, he decided to slip the left hook of Tony Ferguson. You can see his eyes, you can see his head crunched down, trying to slip the potential left hook of Tony. So he might have been good, but damn. Proper outcome. Late stoppage by Herb Dean, in my opinion, but at the same time, how can you stop a Tony Ferguson fight? I mean, I understand when Tony Ferguson is wiping his face, shaking it off, shaking his face, looking obviously out of it, but damn. If you didn't watch last night, if you didn't experience that live, it's still going to be a hell of a time to experience it watching the replay, but that's just one of those events that watching it live, another one of those once-in-a-lifetime events, my friends. This is Nick with Combat Sports World, reminding you to stay combative, my friends. Like I did, actually, the night before the fights. I actually didn't get to watch the first few fights of the night because I almost had to fight a couple people at the 7-Eleven, and I got it on video. Breakdown of that coming soon. So if you're curious to see what happens, or what had happened, stay tuned. So once again, Nick with Combat Sports World, reminding you to stay combative. Even at the 7-Eleven, while UFC 249 is happening, and you're trying to make it over to your buddy's house so you can commentate and cast the event, someone steps to you, you have to remember, stay combative, my friends.